Hey everyone, and welcome to Game 2 of the Upper Brackets Finals in the BLIZZCON Invitational Tournament. I once again am co-casting with HGHX. In the 5 o'clock position, we have the red Zerg as Ice, and in the 7 o'clock position, we have the blue Terran as Oxygen. So HG, what do you think about the last game that we just casted?
I mean, Ice did a fantastic job defending that timing push by Oxygen. Oxygen just seemed that he had that game. Look at that formidable force that he had. He had an Air Force, he had Marines, he had 5 Hellions.
He had the money mix right there.
He had an absolutely deadly combination of units to just counter anything that Ice could throw at him. But, I mean, very surprisingly, Ice was able to defend that very well. So we are on the other quadrant for this map. I mean, this map is... it's going to be the
extractor trick right there.
I mean, this is the other quadrant, and I wouldn't say it's very favorable to both players. Probably more favorable to a Terran. I mean, for Zerg, because the natural is just so wide open. It's just so difficult to defend against any form of attacks by the Terran. So I don't think Ice is gonna do a 15 hatch for this game, definitely.
But if you watch some games by Glade, because it is so wide open, he really abuses spreading creep everywhere, and then his speedlings just run rampant. So I don't know. You're right. There are a lot of cliffs like this in-base natural that does have this upper cliff here, and if you put it's just like last time. You put siege tanks here, bunkers. It's a huge pain in the ass for the Zerg. But and then this natural once again, it's very open. So if you get a marine ball, it's gonna be very hard to swing around a corner and surround them as a Zerg. But yeah, we are gonna see the standard wall off by Oxygen. This drone is just gonna come in here and take a peek. But once again, as I say, once you It's too early to come in here and scout. You're roughly about 2 minutes into the game. There's nothing going to be different. It's always going to be the same barracks, gas, supply depot. And it's only after this, you only want to see really, does he drop a tech lab? And the drone is going to be irritating and it's going to block. The Marine is good. This barracks lights are flashing, so Ice does know there's a Marine coming out, so he doesn't have to block that tech lab. And he's still gonna be annoying with this drone. He's most likely gonna lose it to this Marine. But what do you think? And he's gonna steal the gas.
Yeah, and as I was saying, he did not go for the early hatchery. So look for him to get speedlings out really quickly to just defend his base first. And I would say for this map, it is just very safe to get speedlings, then get the second hatchery at around 20 supply, which I think it should be the right thing to do. And looking at the production tab, we do see a factory on the way and a reactor, so look for Oxygen to do the same kind of harassment that he did the previous game. Get Hellions out in the field, try to destroy as many drones in the mineral line as possible, and yeah, look for Ice to just get a bunch of speedlings out to defend. And yes, we do see that hatchery going down at about 20 supply there, so I was probably right about that, the strategy.
And he is going to continue to steal this gas. The interesting thing is this Marine should be over here, because the whole reason of doing this is you only lose 7 minerals every time you cancel this gas, and what you want to do is you really do want to see this reactor. You want to see it without. Oh, and he is going to. Oh, this is perfect. So he is going to see. Oh, he actually lets it finish. But these Zerglings do see that reactor, and he knows there's going to be Hellions, and we're going to look for the same response. Ice already has 8 Zerglings on the field. He's making 4 more, and speed is 2/3 done, so he's going to be able to hold it off just nice. Hellions against mass speedlings early game doesn't really do very much until you get pre-igniter.
And Ice, being the very good macros that he is, he did pull off his drones from the gas, and that is so crucial for the extra minerals that is that's needed for you to make the queen at your network. And we do see 2 Hellions coming in, and they're not going to just do a lot of damage there. I mean, Ice is just going to engage the Hellions once his speed is up, but his second hatchery is up, and
speed is done.
And speed is done, yeah. I mean, from this point of time, Ice is just going to macro up.
Well, what I like to see is this barracks make a tech lab, and Oxygen is obviously using map hacks and listening to me. And once his tech lab is done, he's going to swap these 2, and then most likely get pre-igniter for these Hellions, because Hellions with pre-igniter, even in the late game, if you're able to sneak them into the mineral line, they will decimate your economy in a matter of seconds. Hellions are like Reapers, you know. They have their very situational use, but most people think that they're relatively weak. But if you get them in the right unit mix, they are extremely strong. Look at how many Zerglings fall. And this queen is going to die. Actually, is Oxygen going to focus it down? Yes, he's going to focus on this queen. Once this queen dies, then he's going to have free reign. He should kill this queen. Oh, and the queen is running for her life. And these Zerglings are gonna, oh, and they do very nicely block in. This Helen does go down, and although that is not really looking at the units lost, we do have a lot more units lost for Ice, but more importantly is his income was not hurt. Looking at the income tab, he's not ahead, but with this second base out, he's just going to saturate it so much early and just pull very far into the lead, because Oxygen's going 1-1-1 again, and he's going for a kind of like all-in-one base build.
Yeah, and probably I should get his Spire by now. I'm not sure if he has his lair tag up yet. Oh yes, lair is already up, and there we go. We didn't see the Spire.
I stopped listening to us.
I mean,
he's like, oh yeah, I should make a Spire.
At this point in time, it is so crucial to have the Spire up, because you want to have the Spire up for your mutas, but at the same time, you will need Speedlings to just defend. And look at those Spine Crawlers. Those Spine Crawlers will be so crucial for a timing push there by Oxygen. But I mean, Bailing Nest is on the way. So
hello, Overlord.
This is very good play again. I cannot emphasize how important it is to
this
sacrifice.
Viking's like, I don't want to shoot this. It's too much. I'm on a coffee break. Okay, fine.
I mean, look, at like 40 plus supply, it is so crucial to just sack an Overlord. Just peek in and, oh, okay, he's doing this, and I'm gonna do this. And,
because you have to remember, if you see a Tech Lab, you know he's going Banshee. You see 3 barracks, okay, he's going MM. Okay, you see a Tech Lab on 2 factories, okay, he's going Thors. Sacking that Overlord is so important, because as a Zerg, oh my god, and here we go, we have a huge push. Actually, there were Zerglings on the side there, and the economy of Ice has been decimated, as I remember, as you say. He is trying to focus on the Spire. I don't think he has enough. The Queens are focusing down these mid-decks very quickly. This Spire, he needs to heal the Spire. The Spire is being transfused. There's a second, and the Spire does go down. This is a huge hit to the economy. Not just the economy, to the tech. Because without Mutalisk support, you can actually get a huge MM ball, and it's just micro, because even if you lose all your Marines, but there are no Mutalisks to kill the Marauders by themselves are extremely strong. And only 2 Mulas were able to come out, and then they're like, hey, where's everybody else? Like, aren't you making more? Like, no, you can't, because the Spire is done. And actually, Ice had put Overlords here and here, and still he couldn't react in time. I
mean, I cannot emphasize how favored Terran is on this map, because they're able to drop by at the backdoor natural. They're able to drop units, and they're just going to like decimate your natural line. Your mineral line if you're not careful. And
look at the income tab. He has 21 harvesters over 28. Even though he has 2 base, it's essentially 1 base.
Yeah.
Because this is okay. He just made a whole bunch more drones, but looking at the income, they're both not saturated yet at their bases, because well, Oxygen is, but yeah, and wow, look, Oxygen is saving a huge amount of energy. The only reason why a Terran is going to save this much energy is he's saving it for scans, and the reason why you want to save for scans is these little buggers could, like, there's no burrow, but what you could do is you could put a minefield of Baileys, and you don't even need to unburrow them. If they're burrowed, you press X, they splash, and you can essentially kill every Marine once again, fly your mules over, and the army is done.
Alright, I want to point out that the difference between the first game and the second game, between the 2 timing pushes, is that for this push, Ice is severely crippled in this economy. He's not able to reinforce his units enough. So
let's see if Oxygen loses all his Hellions again. He only has 1 Hellion this time. He does have a lot of Marines though. Here comes the Bailey. He is trying to micro his Marines away, but all the Bailings land on the Marauders. And actually, the Marines jumped into the medbacks. The Marines are hopping out right now, and that's not enough. There are still lots of Marines left, and more importantly, there are more Marauders this time. And all the Vikings are killing off all the Overlords. Ice is actually, well, he lost so much supply, and he's losing lots of Harvesters. And the Harvester count is actually even once again. And wow, once again, I don't know how Ice held that off. Like, you know, he lost 2 Spine Crawlers and a few drones, and he lost all his army. But once again, those Banelings did so much damage. Oxygen was able to save maybe half of his Marines because they jumped into the dropships, but that's about it. And but we do see Siege Tech out for Oxygen. So again, MM can transit into MM with Hang, MM with Thor, MM with Banshees, and more importantly, Oxygen is getting his expansion. So he's not going to be starved out. He's not going to go like very all-inish. That was a good timing push, but right now because of these mutants, I think